And here we are in Montreal at 9:30 on a Sunday morning, with Albert looking at the trees, which do not look particularly green, unfortunately. It's a beautiful sunny morning, and at 9:30 in the morning stopping to look at the possibilities for lunch. This is Old Montreal, and the house on the corner was built in 1725, the house of Pierre Calvert, and on the other side is a church whose name I have now forgotten. In the Place de Jacques Cartier, which is in the heart of Old Montreal, looking up past all the cobbles. To the War Monument. We've been up so early that it's even too early for the pavement cafes to be open, much as Mr. Bloor by now would like a cup of coffee.
Well, here we are, in a little cafe in Old Montreal. Cup of coffee. It's 5 to 10 Sunday morning. As you can see, little cafe, one whole lobster, $22.50. That's about £11. Heading round to Jo with her sinister sunglasses on. And we're in the Place Cartier outside Montreal Town Hall, which looks extremely French, as you'll see.
It is the florid French Second Empire style.
The florid French Second Empire style.
Built in 1872.
And you can see, Sunday morning, still a bit quiet round here. But beautifully restored buildings.
This is the square at the side of the town hall, with a statue of Vauquelin to counteract Horatio Nelson, who is behind my back. And this is Old Montreal Port on the St. Lawrence River. And across the river are some atrocious new concrete apartments, panning around to an atrocious, very large concrete silo. With down here a Chinese garden. You can just hear the Chinese music playing in the distance. Here we are playing in a xylophone, which is a concrete edifice inside which Mr. Bloor has inserted himself. Hello, Mr. Bloor, who is now going to speak into a microphone which is being pointed out to our observers. And through these speakers will comes back the sound of Mr. Bloor speaking into the silo across the way. Are you ready, Mr. Bloor?
Ready.
Speak into the microphone.
Hello, this is Doctor, but not a very good impersonation.
A lunatic in Montreal.
Here's Jo, uncharacteristically standing on a relatively high platform in Montreal. Here are the St. Lawrence River behind. There's a further tower to climb, which I might just try. Jo won't. Well, here we are at the top of Place Jacques Cartier in the evening. Buildings being floodlit. Here's Joanne being floodlit.
With my sinister glasses on.
Don't look so sinister when the sun's not shining, dear. Looking down in class. Here's Nelson on his tower. Lots of restaurants down here. This is the Rue Notre Dame. Palais de Justice. And back again to the fountains.
And this is Carnival Cruises, whose own Holland America. This is their office in Montreal, along a very beautiful old street leading up to the art gallery at the top.
Montreal, and down over the city there's a bridge over the St. Lawrence River. And here is Joanne
Charles.
having her sail away drink. What do you think of the drink, Joe?
Very nice, very fruity, doesn't taste alcoholic at all, which is wonderful.
Yes, I think it's got very little rum in it, to tell you the truth. It's not make it safe to have another one if you want. Beautiful evening though. And with that, we'll wait for the ship to sail. Well, the ship must be coming under this.
Here we are in Quebec, rising on the Funicular Railway. Views all around, and sitting proudly is our ship, HAL Amsterdam. This is at the top of the Funicular Railway. The boardwalk.
Unforgettable in every way.
enormous edifice, which looks like a palace from the Loire Chateau Rijon, and is actually the railway hotel. And here is the ship again, sitting in dock, as we are on at Farang Terrace, Quebec. Well, Mr. Bloor, how do you feel after your funicular railway ride?
I feel funicularified.
And a quick chorus of?
No, thank you. I don't think I want to be arrested by the Quebecois Language and Musicality Police. So here we are at the Café de Something in Haute, Quebec, by the Chateau Frontenac.
We are in a different restaurant. We are in a cafe at the Auberge du Trésor, having been sidelined by the Barker.
Yes. And here we are on the terrace, and in the background, huge hulk that you can't see through the trees, Chateau Frontenac, and some dead French hero on a pedestal.
In the lower town, town built on 2 levels with ramparts, and this is all beautiful boutique-y type shops. Mr. Bloor has been taking photos. As you can see, very beautifully decorated shops and old buildings. Obviously the Quebec Fort Police have not got at the language on the t-shirts yet.
Well, here's the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec from our balcony of the Amsterdam. Chateau Frontenac is in fact Quebec's equivalent to the Adelphi Hotel, having been built in the 1890s by the Canadian Pacific Railway Company. Impressive, eh? There's the skyline of old Quebec. Sun setting behind it now. Beginning to be illuminated. Now in the lower part of the town, shops and restaurants and things appear to flourish. There's the lovely Joe, lounging delicately outside. And of course, we could stay on our balcony and have a G&T from the minibar, but it's getting rather chilly. So maybe we'll just have a little look at our fabulous stateroom. This is the sitting around area with a leather settee, minibar.
Albert, videoing Albert.
Now, this could frighten the life out of all of us. Yes.
And this is the Canyon Saint Anne in Quebec City, September 2001. Being very brave, standing on a viewing platform, many thousands of feet high from the fields of it. Looking down into the gorge below. That is a bridge I will probably never cross. A bridge too far.
He looks pretty confident if he can make it up there.
You gotta wait up here for the tram, I think, huh?
Yeah.
So you don't miss it.
This is Albert being extremely intrepid, miles above lots of water.
There's Joe, the intrepid explorer, crossing this very flimsy bridge across the gorge. wobbling. This is the pilgrimage church of Saint Anne de Beaupré, about 20 miles from Quebec City. The story has it that in the 1650s some French sailors came to grief in the St. Lawrence River near here, and afterwards they erected a small wooden church to thank Saint Anne, whom they had prayed to. Later on, people who visited the church began to report being cured from various illnesses. It is apparently the most significant pilgrimage site in the whole of North America. All the Americans and Canadians on the ship knew all about it, even though it was completely foreign to us. The present church is mid-20th century, is very large, and so decorated that it could even be described as kitsch to those who don't subscribe to the faith.
You want to come up a little bit on the sides of the front, please, so as those in the back can see a little something too, please, ladies. Thank you. Very good. So first of all, I was talking to you about maple water. Maple water is a perishable product. It has a tendency to ferment very rapidly due to the point that it contains sugar. So every morning we have to go around 1,800 maple trees over here, collect the maple water, and we have to transform within 24 hours as much as possible. So when we've collected the maple water, we pump it up to a tank like you see there, and then very slowly bring it down to an apparatus like this for boiling. This is called an evaporator. And with this we're going to boil the maple water at 220 degrees very precisely for 3 hours. So we start the first bin with maple water. It passes by the pipes that you see on the sides over here. Those are siphons. And when we're finished after 3 hours, we're going to get the maple syrup as such. Afterwards, we're going to filter and make byproducts, such as maple butter, which is a spread somewhat like peanut butter that you put on toast in the morning. Maple taffy. Maple taffy is a caramel that is made out from maple syrup. We serve it hot on snow, okay? And it is a treat, as you will see in a few moments. In a few moments, we're going to serve you with maple taffy on snow. It is very, very, very good, and also very aphrodisiac, by the way. We have a few customers. I'm only teasing you there. We also produce soft and hard sugar, and all of these are produced by boiling a little bit more. The more we boil, the more we evaporate water, somewhat like you see here, the more we concentrate the product. Hence, finally, good year, bad year in the province of Quebec, we produce between 12 and 15 million pints or liters of maple syrup, which represents 80% of the worldwide quantities. The rest is produced in Northern Ontario, Northern United States, and the Atlantic provinces. I'm talking about large quantities. Otherwise, Western Canada, Western states, they do have the sugar maple, but they produce very small quantities compared to here, due to the fact that the weather factor is not as cold as here in those parts of the States or Canada. So they produce but very small quantities. Questions rapidly, maybe? There you are. Over here, sir. Over here, please.
Okay.
Those are not ready.
Well, this is
Those are not
I thought it
ready.
was just a matter of...
No, and they have to
We
cool
thought we
down.
were too slow.
Yeah.
They have to cool
Oh,
down a
I
little bit.
see.
Otherwise, they go right down on your shoes, and you're gonna have nice shiny shoes.
But that's interesting. There you go, look at that.
In the foreground are people on the Ile d'Orléans picking peppers for the market. And the house in the middle of the pond for a duck. And the long, straight country road, along which is walking Albert, who's been to photograph the duck in its house after eating maple syrup. Did you enjoy the maple syrup, Mr. Bloor?
Very much so. I need to speak to my dentist.
And this is, again in Quebec, this is the Montmorency Falls, which are 100 feet taller than Niagara. Not as impressive due to the narrowness, but 100 feet higher drop.
I don't know if it's going to show up here.
I know.
Ones you don't think show up here now. Ones you
Yeah, exactly. I'm always surprised when
Shifter down.
you're turning, isn't it?
Yeah. I got news for you if I started today. It would be there tomorrow morning. They have to walk over the bridges.
And there are 3 roads that cross with lights.
Yeah, but I'm saying to get over to here.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm still standing.
Okay, you're not on the floor yet.
Yesterday there was a beautiful rainbow.
And this morning is the 21st of September, possibly. And we are in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, famous for the Anne of Green Gables. This is the Basilica of St. Dunstan's. Unfortunately, there's a funeral, so we're not going to go inside and intrude. And this is a typical wide road, pretty lady, post lady coming towards us, with the clapboard houses and verandas. And Albert sporting. Let's have a look at your t-shirt, Mr. Bloor. Who would have guessed it? A group therapy t-shirt.
Here we are in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, London buses.
In Glasgow on the River Clyde. Lots of tour buses, marring what is a beautiful little building on a lake, a few houses, and a church.
So here we are, Prince Edward Island National Park, Green Gables. So we have Joanne of Green Gables wandering up to examine her cultural heritage. Here is Joanne of Green Gables walking down Lover's Lane, being pursued. I wonder if she knows. Well, here we are, the top of the atrium, deck 5, on Amsterdam. The lounge. That's one of the shops. Closed because we're in port. Musicians warming up in the ocean bar. Pre-dinner drinks. And the famous astrolabe cocktail, which doesn't appear to provide any useful information in any accurate form at all. Piece of Murano glass presented by the ship's makers to HAL America. Murano was also in the Gulf of Venice, the lagoon, along with Marghera where the ship was built. My odds are that the piece of glass will stay together longer than the attacking ship. We walk down through the main staircase. Here, the Internet Cafe. The nicer kind of cafe, the Java Cafe. All sorts of different coffees and teas available there.
The British took over the Dutch as a colony. They stayed on.
That's the
Propagated
tour's
the
office
race.
and the front desk. Through here. Here's the photo gallery. No ship complete without a photo gallery. One more deck down. The atrium. Down into the bowels of the clock. Onto the main deck. Which is almost as much wasted space as its equivalent on beam deck. Various offices around here and places where you can meet with the shopping consultants and try and other people of importance on the ship. Final great big view.
I heard 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock.
relieved. Odyssey restaurant. Alternative dining. By arrangement. Explorers Lounge, a very, very nice civilised spot. Classical music played here, very nice for after dinner. Digestif and coffee. So after Captain HAL is a party for VIP guests, so-called, i.e. those of us who are in suites. Mini suites apparently, because we were invited and had enough previous traveller points to qualify. Down to the Rembrandt Lounge, slightly noisier sort of place. Again, well looked out with pieces of art. Alright, at the moment, this gets busy before dinner times. A rather noisy, comical sort of pianist. It's called here. And here we are, sailing away from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. Got to be one of the smallest capital cities of anything anywhere. 40,000 people. I'd call it a one-horse town, but I never did see the horse. Beautiful island there. Lido deck aft. One of the two pools in the ship. Lido pool area, Lido pool bar. See, that's the tonight's dinner. This is the pool with the Magna retracted, mainly retracted anyway, in the evening sun. This is the Brador Lakes near Baddeck, the Alexander Graham Bell Museum, Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia. ideal spot. Tell me, madam, as we sail away from Sydney, Nova Scotia, what are your thoughts? Here we are, Sail Away Pizzas.
I'm Dennis, the friend of Sir Albert. Pizza boy.
Still lots of pizzas left.
Yeah.
Popcorn, popped here on deck, especially for us.
This is Halifax, Nova Scotia on Sunday, so it's closed. Mainly a commercial centre. This is taken from the Citadel, which was the original fort. Probably to fend off the British, as everything else seems to be. And we're going down to the port.
Yep.
Which, like all other ports, is being redeveloped into a very free marina.
My name is Lance Corporal Greg Clancy. If anybody was not on my tour, hello. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'll just start with a couple little safety messages. First of all, I will give you about a 30-second warning to when the gun is going to be fired. It is quite loud. We use a 1-pound charge of black powder, which is why we have the security zone set up. You might want to plug your ears. Probably a good idea. Turn down hearing aids, what have you. So I'll let you know when that's going to happen. Quite a mouthful, but all it really means is that if we were to shoot a projectile out, it would be a 12-pound shot. Obviously we don't, being downtown Halifax is right here. We don't actually shoot a projectile out, so we just use the 1 pound charge of black powder.
Well, here we are, Bar Harbour, Maine. Photography in progress. A really, really beautiful spot. Mist has just risen. Series of small islands. And the bay absolutely peppered with lobster pots. The ship's tenders have to make a fairly slow progress between the ship and the shore because of all the lobster pots in the harbour. There's one of our tenders now. We plan to go ashore in a few minutes.
The sign in the Let's Roll photo processing shop seems to sum up Bar Harbour's attitude to the world. It's facing the town square. Beautiful old clock. Erected in 1790. Under some wonderful old trees, old men sitting and passing the day. Talking of old men sitting and passing the day, how are you enjoying it, Mr. Bloor?
I'm enjoying it very well, and I've noticed they've named the street at East Harbour actually.
Oh yes.
Down there.
All forms of sea transport. Beautiful villa and a gorgeous day still. They don't have a bad view out across the harbour and the islands, and there is the bar which gives Bar Harbour its name. Well, Mr. Bloor, how was the crustacean?
The crustacean sacrificed its life in a noble cause. Start off with a couple of this for clam chowder. The Flying Dutchman. Here we are, Gloucester, Massachusetts, setting for the film and the book Perfect Storm. Pleasant little town. Quite small and a bit closed.
Yes.
And now we're doing the snooze thing.
Is this a new toy?
Newish.
Newish. And we have to zoom in on
What are you doing, Albert?
the star.
Yes, it's going.
here we are in Times Square in New York. Only just a couple of weeks after what has been a very trying experience for everybody.
Skateboard? Yeah, skateboard.
Mrs. Gordon, and what do you think about?
Unbelievable. Frightening, exciting, unbelievable. George M. Cohan next to me.
Who amongst other things wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy and Over Here. Famous sight from New Year.
And that well-known suspicious figure has loomed into view. Abe Law in Times Square, New York, at a very early 10:30 at night. But we did have a very early start, honestly. Ambling quietly along in the wake of Mr. Bloor, who tells me that Central Park was based on the design for Birkenhead Park, which was the first municipal park in the world. Mr. Bloor has the advantage of knowing lots of information and therefore not being questioned on facts which sound extremely unlikely, but never mind. Quiet, peaceful, birds singing, squirrels running around on the grass, and look at that. Part of what's left of the New York skyline. Peace, quiet and tranquility. Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester has never achieved this. And this is the rock of Manhattan Island. I'm not sure what it is, but it sparkles in the sunlight. Absolutely stunning scene.
December 8th of 1980, after autographing a copy of the album, they had the
Yep.
piece. You're standing right by the cubic lamp.
By the cubic
And
lamp.
then there's a tunnel that leads you into the courtyard. That's where he was shot, inside that tunnel. Photos still live there.
No.
Nice view here. That's the southeast corner of the park.
Yeah.
That green building, the one with the green roof.
Yeah.
Short one is the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah, that's where we came in, down there.
Black building, right in the middle, is
Yeah.
Trump Tower. The one with the white stripes on the left side is the used to be the General Motors building. It's now also belongs to Donald Trump. The one with that half circle on top,
Yeah.
that's the Sony building. Midtown Manhattan.
This is Columbus Circle. Broadway, 7th Avenue crossing here. This is on 7th Avenue in New York. The weird mixture of old and very new. Completely amazing.
Get the variety of restaurants at the bottom of that hill. Seafood, pasta, deli and salad, country, delicate dressing in another day.
It's a whole world in a street.
And this is the Rockefeller Center in New York. Blocks and blocks and blocks of skyscrapers, all circling around what would be an ice rink.
Right.
And appears to be a band today. These are lots of New York City workers having their lunch. That's Art Deco sculptures by a gentleman called Laurie. Mr. Bloor. How are we finding New York still?
Still finding it quite impressive. Using typical British understatement there.
The concrete canyons of New York. There is blue sky up there, but it's a long, long way away. And here we are, St. Patrick's Cathedral. Very busy New York Friday lunchtime. Everything wasn't on its normal grand scale. Wherever you turn in New York, there seems to be this enormous vista of wonderful buildings. A large hole liable to be filled with something, and these are all the old 1920s buildings. This is 42nd Street.
Well, here is Joanne. Who still thinks she's on a ship, apparently. It's all the Pinot Grigio. Sitting at a very nice terrace restaurant, one of several here in the fabulously restored Grand Central Station in New York. A really lovely experience and ambience.
A brief encounter.
A brief encounter. Try and take in as much of this as we can. The ceiling contains representation of some of the constellations. There's Orion. For those of you who know about these things, he's the wrong way round, as all the constellations are on the ceiling. Nobody seems really to know whether it was just a complete mistake by the artist or something deliberate. He is reputed to have said when he was asked that he assumed that Vanderbilt, who commissioned it, wanted to be able to see the sky as God would see it. This is the queue line, waiting to get into the observatory, the Empire State Building. It's about 10 to 10 on 29th of September 2001. And here we are on the 86th floor of the Empire State Building. There's the Chrysler Building. the southern tip of Manhattan. 2.5 weeks ago, the biggest landmark was the World Trade Center. There's still some smoke and haze in the air from the